So I created a list of other YA novels and authors from the genre that I think are a great next step after reading Mary Downing Hahn's books. Like I said before, Hahn's books are a great introduction to the genre, but these books are a little bit more advanced and cover more mature themes, which coincide more with older YAs. So Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendar Blake is about Cass, who is secretly a teenage ghost hunter whose job is to get rid of unruly ghosts forever. Him and his mother, an herbal witch, moved to Thunder Bay, Ontario, so Cass can kill the spirit of Anna Korlov, better known as Anna Dressed in Blood. Feeling like she's holding something back, Cass tries to figure out a way to release Anna's spirit without killing her. In the meantime, Cass is also trying to locate and destroy the spirit of the malicious ghost that killed his father. Anna Dressed in Blood is one of my favorite YA supernatural novels. It was one of the first ones I've read with the male protagonist, and I really liked it. I would recommend this novel for older YAs because of some of the more graphic scenes and kind of language. Blake's writing really keeps the reader on their toes, which I love. Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. Will is in mourning. His older brother Sean was murdered. Will can't cry and Will can't snitch. What he can do is kill the person who killed his brother. On his way down from his eighth floor apartment, the elevator stops at each floor where a dead person comes on and tells their story. Um, I'm actually in the process of reading Long Way Down, and I love it so far. It deals with tough issues like gun violence and the pain of losing a loved one. The use of paranormal characters is an added bonus. Reynolds' novels have, or this one, has won both the Coretta Scott King Honor Book as well as the Walter Dean Myers Award. I think this would be a great book to read while exploring different types of poetry in the classroom because it is written in verse. Anya's Ghost by Vera Brosgol. Anya, I'm going to butcher this, Borzakovskaya, is a teenage immigrant from Russia. She feels like she doesn't fit in at her new school and tries her best to keep from drawing attention to herself. She is embarrassed of her heritage and the way she looks. She meets the ghost of Emily, a girl who lived 100 years ago. With Emily's help, Anya learns how to fit in. Anya begins to realize that fitting in and being popular isn't as great as it seems. I think this book would be a great read for middle schoolers because of its message. Students are often concerned about how they fit in with their peers and try to change themselves to achieve this. Anya's Ghost also explores the consequences of having negative influences. Um, it's also a graphic novel, which I think makes the story interesting. It's the first supernatural graphic novel I read, and I loved it. The Mediator series by Meg Cabot. The series follows Susanna, Suze, as she likes to go by, Simon, on her adventures as a teenage mediator. Suze's job is to help them get to the great beyond. In each book, she has to deal with an unruly spirit who has unfinished business. Suze must eventually help them deal with. Meanwhile, she makes a new friend in Jessie, a 19th century ghost that helps her with her challenges. This series is fun and easy read for young adolescents. While it covers tough topics like death, the way it's written is light and humorous and isn't scary like other supernatural novels. I chose to include this series because while being a ghost hunter, Suze's character deals with the same issues that a lot of teenagers deal with. For example, she doesn't really fit in at her new school and she isn't the perfect student or daughter. She has to adjust to moving and living with her new step family. All of these issues are relatable to most adolescents, so I think they would enjoy the series. Also, Meg Cabot is a great YA author. You probably know her from The Princess Diaries, but I think I fell in love with her because of this series. Uh, How to Hang a Witch by Adriana Mather is about Samantha Mather and her stepmother, who have just moved to Salem, Massachusetts. Sam's ancestor, Cotton Mather, was one of the people responsible for the Salem witch trials. This makes Sam an enemy of a group of teenagers that call themselves the Descendants. Who are they descendants of? You guessed it, the witches who were hanged during the trials. I loved this book. All of the characters were so well developed and relatable in their own way. The author is actually a 12th generation descendant of the Mather family, who were a real family during the trials. This novel is very much a historical fiction novel. The author includes lots of information on the trials and the families that were involved. How to Hang a Witch also includes relevant YA lit themes, especially bullying, and the author, Adriana Mather, also wrote Haunting the Deep, which is another historical fiction about the Titanic. So, to conclude, some of my findings from doing this project, I learned super that the supernatural horror genre has like a vast number of novels that aren't just focused on paranormal concepts and ideas. A majority of the novels I've read deal with other more prevalent themes that young adolescents can relate to. I think Han's books are a great introduction to the supernatural genre. The reading difficulty is fairly low, but not so low where it doesn't challenge the students. And I find that this genre is exciting and thought provoking, and I believe it would benefit young adolescents to read it. And my sort of inspiration to do this for my final project was because I wasn't very really exposed to new horror books when I was in middle school, and I think they're so fun and like a little underrated. So yeah, thank you for listening.